setting up to perform the Super Hornet's signature dirty roll. They're configuring with the gear down, flaps to half, setting up on the show line, and as they approach from the left, they will execute the dirty roll, demonstrating the superior power and maneuverability of the Rhino. Setting up from the left to go into the minimum radius turn. The aircraft will roll into a 90-degree angle of bank to a thin radius turn. This allows the aircraft to sustain any time with the force of gravity and a turn radius of less than 1,500 feet. Whether in a dogfight or avoiding surface air threats, this gives the Super Hornet a tactical advantage to turn in a tight space. Demonstrating the use of speed to surprise an enemy. You may notice some white vapor coming off the Super Hornet, indicating that it is close to the speed of sound, but we'll keep it for the high-speed pass. Aircrew now are locking their harness as they prepare for the next maneuver, the vertical pirouette. Entering the maneuver at 350 miles per hour, they will pull the jet into the vertical, roll the canopy towards the crowd. Selecting full afterburner as the speed slows through 200 miles per hour, Lieutenant Jakovich will perform a push-pull maneuver to set up for the vertical pirouette. Crew are now setting up for the maneuver known as the square loop. Selecting afterburner, the jet will approach show center and Lieutenant Jakovich will rapidly reposition the nose 4 times while flying a square path through the sky. at a height of 500 feet. Approaching ship center, Lieutenant Jakovich will roll the aircraft inverted and reduce the power to idle. Steady listen from the right to the sound of the inverted Mr. Setting up for the high Alpha Pass. This maneuver will showcase the incredible slow speed handling characteristics of the Super Hornet. Sometimes the aircraft with the ability to fly the slowest will actually have the advantage in air-to-air combat, as the potential adversary may be forced to fly in front of the fighter. Few other aircraft in the world would attempt to maneuver at this slow speed and nose attitude. The 40,000-pound F-18 remains completely controllable at speeds of 100 miles per hour, with 2 digital flight control computers aiding the aircrew. From the right for the photo pass. So we'll give you a up close look at the aircrew flying the Super Hornet today. You're safely aboard, you're floating home. And it truly gives us a worldwide reach to be able to fly aboard the United States aircraft carriers afloat worldwide. Approaching from the left, the aircrew will be at 400 miles per hour and pull up to 8 Gs in this high performance turn. The Super Hornet you see here today is one actually used by Strike Fighter Squadron 122 to train pilots and weapons systems officers at Naval Air Station Lemoore, California. Lieutenant Jakovich and Lieutenant Lucas currently serve as instructors at VFA 122 and spend most of their time teaching new pilots and Wizzos how to employ the Super Hornet in all phases of flight. Currently, there are over 20 Super Hornet squadrons in the Navy, some of which at this point are flying in support of combat missions worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce the Rhino demonstration maintenance crew as well, who have meticulously prepared the aircraft and ensured that all systems were safe for flight. AT-2 Pop from Maryville, Tennessee, AM-2 Smith Gardner from Coral Springs, Florida, and AM-3 Gill from Linwood, Washington. It takes many dedicated and talented young men and women and countless hours to maintain, fix, and fly these machines. There are currently over 400 maintenance personnel at VFA 122 whose tireless efforts allow us to accomplish our mission. The aircrew would like to acknowledge those maintenance crew who have made today's flight possible. On behalf of the United States Navy, I would like to thank you for allowing us to demonstrate here the F-18 Super Hornet here in Abbotsford, Canada. We've really appreciated your hospitality and really enjoyed the visit and such a wonderful show site. Hope you enjoyed the show and everything else to come this afternoon.
What did you think about that? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the United States Navy F-18 Super Hornet. Based out of NAS Lemoore in California. It took him about an hour and 20 minutes to get here the other day.